Hello and welcome to my new video. I'm thrilled to have you tune in, and despite it being already September, I am going to talk about sunscreen again. You might ask now, why in September sunscreen? First of all, because I can. And secondly, sunscreen really is a topic all year round, especially when you really think about protecting your skin from the sun. For anti-aging purposes, you might, when you want to go skiing in winter, you might want to protect your face from the sun there. You might as well have a summer break somewhere in the Caribbean, somewhere in Asia and Africa, in Australia you get some summer sun, or you might be on the southern hemisphere, because although we here in London, we've got already gloomy weather, which is really not requiring sunscreen anymore, unfortunately. So as we are entering autumn winter season, you might be just blessed with spring and summer might just be coming up for you. So today I'm going to show you 7 sunscreens, of which I liked 5 very much and can recommend. Before we get started, I have to say that I'm still looking for my absolute holy grail product in terms of sunscreen. Natural sunscreen. When I was still using conventional cosmetics, I used the Garnier transparent sun spray, and that was, in terms of application, really top-notch. So there's nothing I can say about application where protection. The only really nasty thing here are obviously the ingredients, so I don't really want to be putting that on my skin again, but I'm still looking for a natural sunscreen that can give me kind of the same user experience, so to say. So if you know anything you think I should try, please let me know and I'll be happy to take a look at it and see if it works for me. So let's get started with the first sunscreen here. I'm going to do it a bit in the order how I discovered the products, to also tell you a bit the story, what my thoughts were about purchasing them. And I am going to start with the Eco Cosmetics 50+ lightly toned sunscreen, 50+ UVB protection, also UVA. This is a titanium dioxide based sunscreen and it is a cream. So the texture is a bit richer, heavier texture than sun sprays, obviously. And here you can see the color. So as you can see, it's ever so slightly beige, and it does indeed blend well, not only with my skin tone, I have to say, also friends of mine tried it. If you want to see a test I did with a friend of mine who's got a bit of darker skin complexion, in my last video we're doing a test for the white cast, and this does not leave on me any white cast, and neither did it on my friend. I think that was even her favorite. So especially on the face, I really love it because it's just really moisturizing, and in summer when I'm on holiday, I'm going outside, I don't know that I'm going to be sweating the entire day. I just spare myself of more layers and just literally take this one here, and it moisturizes my skin, it protects my skin from the sun. It has a very, very glowy finish, so if you're a glow girl, then you're probably gonna love this. I'm not that much glowy, I'm a bit more on the matte side, so I just apply some makeup or some powder just to tone the glow a little bit down, really. So the major plus points for this sunscreen for me are really that it's toned. It really easily blends in with many skin tones, and it is a very moisturizing texture. The negative thing with it is kind of the rich moisturizing texture in a way as well, because if you wear it on, say, your body on the beach, then you're literally coated in sand, and the sand just literally sticks to you and you're like a sand magnet with this one. That was also kind of the reason why I then started looking into some sun sprays and into some other sun protection, just for when I'm going to the beach. Not every grain of sand will stick to me. And the next sunscreen I then discovered was the Biosolis 50+ spray. This is a titanium dioxide based spray. It's 50+ UVB, and we can see again here UVA protection here as well. It's certified by EcoCert and comes in a 100 ml spray bottle. I should have said this one here is 75 milliliter. Okay, so the Biosolis 100 milliliter spray bottle. I really like this one because despite it doesn't say so, it seems to be slightly toned. It's more sort of a yellowish shade when you apply it, but on my skin it blends in really well. What I really like is that the texture is pretty light but still moisturizing, and I'm just gonna demonstrate this, however, with another bottle because that one is actually now empty. And I just put it there because it looks a bit better than my newest one, because that suffered a little bit when I was on holiday. I hope you can see that we've got here a slightly yellowish color to it. And if I just work that in, so for me that actually blends perfectly fine. The reason why I started looking for alternatives was basically because I wanted to see if I find something which I like even more, and just because I like trying new things. And as I said in the beginning, I haven't found yet a sunscreen where I'm completely happy with all of the ingredients. At the same time, I started using, and I bought the Laboratoire Biarritz 50+ Sunspray and the Acorelle SPF 50 Sunspray, of which the Laboratoire Biarritz Sunspray is the only one which is a combination of titanium dioxide and zinc. I know that both ingredients, which are the sunscreen active ingredients in natural sunscreen, are controversial. There are studies contradicting one another in terms of which of both ingredients is the more effective in terms of protection, and some studies even suggest that the one or the other is even harmful. I'm not going further into that because I haven't really formed a final opinion on that yet. I've read a little bit on it, maybe even a lot, but it's not that much, or it's not that clear to me yet that I can say I prefer one over the other. So I would, however, be interested if you might have formed an opinion, if you prefer one ingredient over the other. Is either zinc or titanium dioxide an ingredient where you say, oh, I don't really want that in my sunscreen, I prefer to buy sunscreen with the other? Do you have maybe some information you can share? If so, please feel free to leave a comment below. And for now, I will just drop that point and go on with reviewing the sunscreen. So here a zinc and titanium dioxide combined product, and here this is a titanium dioxide product again, like the other ones I showed to you. For this one, I have to say it completely solves my problem with the caking of sand to my body when I go to the beach. So this one is a very liquid formula with almost a matte powdery finish that really prevents sand from caking to my skin. So it is such a nice dry matte finish that this is really the best for applying to your body when you go to the beach. I also use it on my face and just apply like a thin layer. I have to say you have to be a bit careful applying it around the eyes because it's so liquid, so it might creep into your eyes and you might start tearing. But if you leave the eyes and just use for the eyes maybe the Eco Sunscreen, you could easily use that on your face. It leaves a really nice and powdery finish, and if you want to have makeup on top, it's just such a fine layer that it's not like layers and layers on your face. So it's a really nice, almost like a foundation that kind of already cancels out all redness or anything that needs to be cancelled out, and then you can apply the makeup on top. I'd also say for people with oily skin, where the Eco Tinted Moisturizer and sunscreen is a bit too much and too rich, that could be a real alternative because that's so matte in the finish, so you could apply that with some makeup on top. It will leave a bit of a white cast on the face, at least it does for me, because I think it's just the skin on my face can't absorb the product that well than the skin on my body. On my body, however, like arms, legs, whatever, it does not leave a white cast, but then I'm really pale, so for slightly darker skin complexions it might, however. I have to say that I've heard from some people, or I've seen posts where people said that they got burned with sunscreen from Laboratoire Biarritz. However, that referred, I think, to the 30, so SPF 30 product. In this case, might be worth checking out the 50+ version. I used always the 50+ and I never got burned, but then I never got burned with any of the products. Obviously, when I applied them sufficiently quickly and when I didn't forget to apply them at all. The only downside with this one here is, apart from that I disagree with some of the ingredients, there is sodium hydroxide in here, which is not to be confused with aluminum hydroxide. So sodium hydroxide, it's a preservative in this formula, I suppose, and it is really harsh on the skin and it irritates the skin. So that is actually something I don't really want to put on my skin. However, as I say, I haven't found the sunscreen, the natural sunscreen yet, where there is nothing I would have to complain about in terms of ingredients. And it's also sort of a trade-off for me, because obviously sunscreen products, they protect me from radiation, from sunburn, from skin cancers. So it is a bit of a trade-off with some ingredients where I say I wouldn't have that in my normal moisturizer, for example. And on top of that, I don't wear this product all year round, 24/7. So I let that one slip. And I have to say the only downside for me with this one is that it's a 125 ml bottle. So that means if you're traveling hand luggage only, which you might do for a weekend break in Spain, in Italy, whatever, if you forget about it, worst case, have to throw this off at the airport, or you have, if you think about it before, you have to fill it into another bottle, which is just a bit of a hassle. And for a product like sunscreen, which you regularly have in your hand luggage, it's just a bit an unnecessary hassle, I think. So I'm opening that. Brilliant that I'm doing that with the really liquidy one. So you can see that really runs down here. So really liquid texture and really milky texture, so it's not even like a lotion, it's really a milky texture. And I mean, it looks pretty white now on my hand, but I mean the hand doesn't really absorb that much as for example my arm, and that's kind of the effect you're getting like in your face. So obviously, as I said, the face does not absorb that quickly. So that is kind of, you can see that. So even on my pale skin, that does look a little bit white at the beginning, but that will become better. So especially if you're wearing it, for example, like under makeup as your daily sunscreen, if you're working indoors in an office, if you're at uni or school the entire time, you would not be that much outside, not that much exposed to sunlight. So you would just wear a thin layer, I suppose. And then I hope you can see it. So this is the hand where there is nothing. I'm obviously wearing some makeup, so I'm a bit more tanned, if you can call it tanned, than like my arms in general or my hands. So I hope you can see it. So that's the hand where we don't have anything on, and that is now the one where I just put on the Biarritz. Roughly at the same time when I tried the Biarritz, I also tried the Acorelle. In terms of the texture, it is a little bit more like the Biosolis again. So it is a lotion, however a bit more a richer texture than the Biosolis, but still on the lotion side. And it is not as good with sand as the Laboratoire Biarritz. So here really you're not coated in sand when you leave the beach, but with this one sand might stick a little bit to your body. However, I just love this rich and moisturizing texture, and it's not as dewy as the Eco cream, because obviously it's not a sun cream, it's a sun lotion or sun spray. So that is the plus for this one for me. So it's really nice, rich moisturizing texture without feeling sticky on the skin, so to say. Downsides for this one are for me that it's not 50 plus, it's just 50, and it also has aluminum hydroxide, but that is as I said already in a couple of other products as well. So if I'm spraying that on, so you can see that's really white. I'm super sorry, I have not waxed my arm, so we're dealing with a little bit of hair here. And even if you work that in, so it kind of stays a little bit white in the first moment. However, so I think you can see the difference between both arms. And however, that for me blends in then, or I'm just coated all over in it, so I don't notice it anymore, but for me that really works in. And next I want to show you the Eco Cosmetics 50 Plus Sun Spray, which is actually a product that's aimed at children. This is my latest trial for natural sunscreen, and I have to say I'm really pleased with this one in terms of the feel, in terms of the texture, in terms of wear. The only thing I have to say for this one, that it does leave a white cast. I mean, not as bad as some other products, some older products you might know from years ago, but still it leaves your skin appear much whiter than it actually is. It comes in a 100 milliliter bottle, and it is a titanium dioxide based sunscreen. It almost does not wear off on my clothes, so I was even wearing it with some black shorts and in general black clothes, and it did not wear off much, so almost nothing at all. And in terms of the feel on my skin, it is a very nice lotion creamy texture, very close to the texture of the Acorelle. So as I said, the Acorelle, the Biosolis and this one, they are kind of similar in terms of texture, so this is a bit further away even, I would say, but these two, they are pretty similar in texture or in, say, feel on the skin. However, this is 50 plus and this one is just 50. So in terms of protection, I would say this one wins for me. And also I felt super protected. So even like after a long day outside where I mean, I try to walk in the shadow and everything, but sometimes you just can't help it. And even after a long day outside in the sun, I didn't feel like it had a bit too much exposure. And also it is a really moisturizing texture, so sometimes despite having a moisturizing texture, sunscreen can still leave your skin in the evening a little bit dry, and I didn't have that at all with this one, so it's a shame that it is white. So I think I don't even have to say anything to this anymore, because I think you can pretty much tell how white that left me, and I am already super pale. So I'm not entirely sure, because sometimes you have the effect that actually something that looks a little bit white on me, it kind of blends in with darker skin. I haven't tested that with darker skin, because I haven't had that yet when I did this test with my friend. However, I can imagine that this, as you can see, it comes out white, as others did as well, but this even kind of stays white on the skin, so unfortunately that's not exactly what I'm looking for. However, in terms of the feel on my skin, it is a super nice feel. So that were the 5 products where I said I can recommend to you and which I love using despite still looking for improvement. And I said I have got also 2 products for you which I did not enjoy that much, and it's really not the case that I want to bash some products. It's just something I don't like doing, because just if I don't like a product doesn't mean that someone else might not enjoy it. But with natural sunscreen, because we're all looking for protection, no white cast, just like in general a nice spreadability, usability. So I think in this case it is helpful if I just tell you about the products which I think were not worth my money and which will go to the bin, just little used. So I'm talking about the Lavera SPF 30 and the Botanic Basic SPF 50 spray, and this one is like it says sun milk, but it's rather like a lotion creamy texture. Both products, I have to say, I bought sort of because I didn't have a choice. So this one here, I was in Germany. I was in an area where your best way to get natural products is to go to a local drugstore. So I didn't really have that much of a choice, and the drugstore literally just had their own brand and Lavera. So I bought that one. First of all, it's not SPF 50, so that is the only one in the video which is not 50 or 50 plus. And in terms of usability, so this was just a really no-no for me. It is just really orange. Maybe you can see that, so it's really orange. Like the spreadability is not great, and it kind of just sits on the skin. It does not really soak in and set at all, and it just leaves me looking really white. It rubbed off to my clothes. Oh my goodness. I mean, you can always, if you have stains from sunscreen products, you can always get that out, because it's usually kind of like oily stains. You can get that out with washing up liquid. So just before you wash your clothes, you can always treat them with washing up liquid, maybe soak them in a bit water with washing up liquid, so dishwashing up liquid, and that will do the trick. But this one just it rubs off to my clothes, it just leaves me here, even like, can you see it, that it kind of smears and smotches, so not great. And also one thing that really doesn't work for me here is the ingredients tocopherol acetate, so anyways a no for me. And the second one, which I will not be buying again, I had to buy in Spain because I was running out of my other sunscreen. I was just for such a long time. Actually, I planned with repurchasing in Spain something because they've got a pretty good network of natural stores, but somehow where I did have just a very limited choice, and I then decided for this one because I think because of the ingredients and definitely because it was 50, I think that was the trick. I think I only had a choice between 30, SPF 30, and that was the only 50, something like that. And this one, I mean, it is a spray. But I really, let's see where we've got some free space, maybe here. I really have to say that this one just really leaves a white cast, and for a spray that much of a white cast, it's a bit disappointing. And it's just 50, it's not even 50 plus. So if I spray it on, you can see it's really liquidy, but I think you can even see right here, it really leaves a white cast. And I have to say, I also don't like the smell. It does not exactly smell nice. So that was it. I hope you enjoyed the little comparison and my review for the different SPF sunscreens. To summarize, I can say that all of those 5 I can really recommend in terms of usability. As I said, all the 5 are different. We've got one with a really matte finish with the Biarritz. We've got one cream which is really moisturizing and really rich and tinted so that it blends in really well. And we've got here 3 sprays with the Eco, Acorelle and Biosolis, which are all the 3 of them very moisturizing to the skin, really nice feel to skin, really nice sun sprays as well. And I can really recommend them, all of them. As I said, I'm not 100% happy with all the ingredients, but still considering that they are supposed to protect me, my skin, from skin cancer, from radiation, I think it's a trade-off I want to make. And don't forget to tell me if you can recommend a natural mineral-based sunscreen which I might try and like. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you want to see more from me, and you can also connect with me via Instagram, where I'm posting products I like or just the random picture of what is happening at the moment. So I hope this video was helpful for you. Let me know if you know some of the products, if you like them, what you're using, and I hope to see you soon in a new video. Bye! Protecting your sun, protecting your moisturizing texture. Ruined it again. I ruined it again. It just literally went all over my face.